into the new chapter. Chapter 8. Las Vegas. Nice. Can't wait to see what's going to happen here. Cool. It took us another day and a half to reach our destination, so 3 days all in all since we'd eloped, as Cass loved to say so much, on Friday night, and we were now on Monday late in the evening. That confused me. The moment we entered the heart of the city, she became ecstatic. At every street corner, she was like, "Oh," or look. It's so beautiful," or again, "I want to go there, let's go there, alright?" Every time, though, I just kept my eyes focused on the road, after listening to what she was saying. When I felt that she was pestering me too much, I simply repeated the same thing over and over again. "We need to find a place to crash first, be patient, alright?" She was so excited about the most trivial things that I started wondering what kind of life she had led up until now. She was a prostitute, right? Then why did it feel so much as if I was with a kid somehow? Was this whole thing really a good idea? Bringing her to a place like this and with me of all people? One thing we didn't have to worry about, though, was our budget. I had lots of savings from my old part-time job as well as my current full-time one. Well, current might not really be the case anymore, but whatever. Since I had always lived modestly, or more like pathetically, I had more than enough money for the both of us, and it would last for quite a respectable amount of time as well. Okay, fucking rich man. Obviously, the first place we decided to hit was the mandatory casino. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to see here, so we've drank a lot. When I say a lot, I mean that new drinks were popping so frequently in our hands that by the end of the night I couldn't remember where half of them were even coming from. She looked at everything with eyes full of curiosity. The old people on their slot machines were very fascinating to her. She could gaze at them for 30 minutes on end. However, the moment I asked her if she would like to try it, she looked at me with a warm smile and said, "They look so pathetic, it's almost pitiful. But when you think about it, aren't we all the same? We waste our lives routinely doing the same emotionless actions over and over again, forgetting even the meaning of behind it. I wonder, if there's a God, wouldn't he look at us with the same pity as I'm looking at them?" I was mysteriously drawn in by her empathetic, slightly dejected expression. Before I knew it, I was in front of her, patting her head softly while gazing at her silently. I wanted to comfort her somehow, but even with all this going on, no words came out of my mouth. And so she continued, "As long as we're together, let's not do this, alright? I want this to be special. Us. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to love me just to make sure we never forget. At least, alright? Never forget the reason why we're here right now. Alright? Never. I promise." Damn. Bossy. I took her by the hand and led her through the maze of the bright and colourful machines. But was it such a good idea to agree with her? Wow, I'm struggling. Whoa. I mean, not forgetting the reason why we were here would mean never forgetting that we're always in danger. That we're always on the run, or maybe that's what she meant by it. She also looked at me with great interest the moment I started playing blackjack. She didn't know the rules, but as soon as I explained them to her, she tried to help me sometimes, and she was smart for that. She sure was. I almost forgot that she was once among the top at our school. To think that she had become so innocent, or maybe she had always been like that. But the way I saw her at the time, I thought she was a strong-willed woman who could do anything as long as she put her mind to it. But I couldn't have been more wrong. She was fragile, delicate, and pure. Any man would have been a better fit for her. Any man. Yet she was unlucky enough to choose me of all people. The moment we started to become really wasted was the moment where everything started to slowly crumble. I had to go to the bathroom because of the alcohol, obviously. The instant I came back, I saw her speaking with another man. Well, okay, she wasn't speaking with him as much as she was one-sidedly trying to hit on her. But whatever. Her eyes were different than when she was with me. She had a stern expression and her eyes were as cold as ice. It would have been obvious to anyone that she was giving him the cold shoulder, but not to him. I walked up to them and asked her if she knew him. I don't. He was actually leaving, right? Oh, so he's your boyfriend. Sorry, man. It's just you're such a fine woman, yeah? I couldn't walk by her without at least trying, you know? He looked at me with a kind of smug expression that said, I try to feel girl. No hard feelings, right? What did he want? I asked her plainly. Nothing. Answer me. I shouted, not minding the people around us. Obviously, most of them did turn around by my sudden outburst. She didn't want to answer. Still, after seeing the look on my face, she finally gave in, her eyes downcast toward the floor. He asked how much for the night. You just treated her like she's a prostitute? I'm sorry, he repeated once again, scratching his cheek in discomfort. But as I said, she's a very attractive girl, so leave. I uttered emotionlessly, and without even waiting, I repeated the order again. I said leave. Okay, no need to be a dick about it. Geez, you're meant to be together, you two. I wasn't talking to you, Cass. Leave. Wait for me outside while I deal with this bitch. What did you just say? The man became visibly agitated. The moment the meaning behind my words reached his small-ass brain. No, Tim, come with me. I don't want to be alone. I don't care what he said. Just come with me, okay? Let's stay together. I took a stance, no longer caring if she witnessed the whole thing at this point. She hugged me tightly from behind, probably fearing I would jump on the guy. What are you doing? Stop, you But before I could shake her off, I was punched in the face by the man in front of me. He probably took it as an opportunity to take me by surprise. Luckily, I was able to keep myself from stumbling, though. Because if I had, I would definitely have fallen on her. A second blow followed, and obviously I had no other choice but to take it yet again. In the end, I had to fall to my knee before she finally understood what was happening to me, and decided to protect me from up front instead. Leave him alone. Don't you see he's in no position to fight anymore? The guy did stop by her words, but before leaving, he said something along the lines of, next time, know with whom you are dealing with, punk, as though he just conquered the whole world. I couldn't move for a while. She kept on hugging me tightly, as if it would actually help me feel better. I sensed rage warming up inside of me, and it certainly didn't help that the only words she thought to say were, I'm sorry, baby, I'm so sorry. Her useless apologies only made my anger worse. I got up from the ground without as much as looking at her and started walking away toward the nearest bar. Wanted to be left alone. I knew what would happen if she kept on nagging me, but sure enough, there was nowhere else for her to go. Gosh damn it. I drank a couple of shots of my own. She sat next to me with her sad-looking eyes, but I ignored her. She didn't ask for a drink herself, nor did she try to start a conversation. She simply kept looking at me. I was the center of her whole world. That's how I felt at the very instant. After that, I went outside gloomily. I was so drunk, I don't even know how I was able to walk straight. That is, if I was walking straight in the first place. It was nighttime already, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. She was shivering for some reason. She kept repeating that she was cold multiple times over. I didn't really understand how it was possible since it was relatively hot at that moment. And we were both drunk anyway, so who cared? I lit a cigarette and looked absently at a single point in space that wasn't told me. Please, I'm cold. She wanted me to hug her. Ridiculously enough. Get lost. She was annoying. I don't want to be close to you, please. She hadn't shifted gear even after I had been so cold toward her. She never did. Actually, but tonight was even worse. She was blatantly showing her dependence on me. No. She approached me nonetheless. The moment her hands touched me, pushed her hard to the ground. She fell on her butt painfully. Okay, now you're being a bit of a prick. Others were looking at me. It seemed I was taking on the role of the bad guy tonight. Couldn't care less though. Didn't feel anything. I glanced at her emotionlessly. She staggered back to her feet rather quick, and as she did, her smile was still intact on her face. She walked toward me with again that sweet smile and said, "Again?" She wanted to push down. What the f was her problem? Well, not that I really minded. Well, she touched me again. I pushed her the exact same way. Again, she tumbled to the ground painfully and then got back up on her feet eagerly and walked up to me with a pure expression of hers. I started laughing. How the f could she be so stupid? Couldn't she understand that I was furious right now? Could I even understand myself? Dude, I pushed her the moment her fingers grazed my arm on the ground. She laughed. Well, like me, I guess, but this time she had a harder time getting back up. People were eyeing us as though we weren't human or something, as if we were another species entirely. You're such an airhead sometimes. What the? My anger had vanished completely, thanks to her stupid act. I helped her back to her feet, and we went back into the casino anew. What just happened? I missed like five chapters in all that time. Oh boy, she was happy. She locked arms with me and was holding me so tightly that I had no other choice but to leave her on her own devices. Okay, so by the way, sorry about that. That was just a loud ass flippin' message. We walked past a variety of table games, all of which had different ways for us to carelessly lose money. She took note. It's one in particular. I want to try this one. Give me 20. Alright. I gave it to her happily, somewhat intrigued by her sudden desire to play a game. Since we'd arrived, she had been more of an observer, happy to watch me gamble with no real interest in participating herself. She puts a chip, the croupier, gave it to her on the 0? You do know how it works, right? Yeah, what of it? You know you only have one chance of 37 if you play like this. Sure. The roulette wheel began turning and turning until it slowly but surely lost momentum. Soon enough, the little ball slowed down to a stop. And sure enough, the winning number wasn't... Wait, what? Hey, I won, babe. How is this fucking possible? Yeah, I know, less than 3% is still more than 0 still, but what the fuck? She won 700... Damn. She wanted to give it to me, but I couldn't accept it, even if she didn't necessarily work for it. It felt as though she had used a lot of her unused luck to win it. She bought us 2 bottles of wine, and we finished the night at the hotel. Oh, she was on top of me. She had yet to insert me inside of her. She looked at me with those passionate eyes of hers. She had a letter opener in her hands. It was lying around on the bedside table, I think. The moment she noticed it, she picked it up hastily, as though she had just had the greatest idea. That's when she said, "I want to write my name on your body with this, can I?" I said, "Sure." What the? Carelessly, and without ever breaking eye contact with her, I looked at her every motion with great fascination. She applied pressure on my stomach with the edge of the thing, but it didn't do much good, unfortunately. Her name was there alright, but it wouldn't take long before it disappeared. She was too soft. Still, she was satisfied with the result. I wasn't. She looked at my stomach contemplatively. I took the opportunity to grab the hand with which she held the letter opener and push it hard onto my belly. What are you? This is how you do it. If you really want to appropriate me, do it properly. Appropriate you? I didn't reply to her. My eyes were enough to convey the depth of my thoughts. I don't want to hurt you. If you don't wanna, and get off of me. She cried right then and there. She cried, but at the same time she started carving her name onto my body thoroughly, because those weren't tears of sorrow. She was genuinely happy. Whoa. Okay, well, that's ending there. That was a weird one. Thanks for watching. Going to see you in the next one, and goodbye. Whoa.
Failure ain't an option.